Hello, this is Lee McMahon. I'm trying to start a new YouTube channel here. I don't know how this is gonna work, but we'll just see how we'll see how they take off. So I'm gonna do top 10 lists. I'm gonna see how this works. If it doesn't, we'll just try something new then. But hopefully this could go big, but probably it's not gonna go anywhere. So for the first video, I decided to go with South Park. South Park is a show I really like, high quality. Okay, maybe not, but it's entertaining to say the least. So I feel like we're going to do the top 10 South Park episodes. This is somewhat my opinion, but a lot of these episodes are proven to be liked time and time again. I will put a couple of honorable mentions here. And we'll start with honorable mentions, because I feel like that would be a great way to start off instead of just having them near the end. Go from worst to best. So the first honorable mention here is going to be Pandemic. Pandemic was basically when the boys, Stan, Kyle, Eric, Kenny, decided to go team up with Craig and decided to invest in Peruvian flute band music. However, it turns out that there's this government guy who takes them away, and they go sent off to Miami and plan to go to Guantanamo Bay. However, the only way to do that is go to Peru and take down the government. However, when they take down the Peruvian flute bands, it turns out then guinea pigs are coming, and those things are adorable. Just letting you know that right now, guinea pigs are adorable. There's no crime in putting a costume on a guinea pig. No crime there at all. So after that, the only way to go back is to go find some ancient scary ruins and stuff like that and figure out what's going on. The reason I like this episode so much is, again, well, besides the guinea pigs, which are adorable, we just see Craig in the storyline, and I think it works out pretty well. The next one's the poor kid. This one is when Kenny is taken away from his house since his parents are redneck trash. And after that, he pretends to be a guardian angel to help his sister along, and then Eric ends up coming after he purposely gets his mom arrested. That was totally entertaining. Sure. No problem there. That's perfectly normal. Investment for the future, kids. So yeah, the parents there happen to be really awful though. The school life is tough. Eric doesn't like being the poor kid. And a reptilian bird eats Kenny. Because that makes total sense. But overall, this one's definitely one you get to see a deeper insight to Kenny and how he really actually is a good guy and more than just the guy behind a coat. The third honorable mention is WTF. The boys decide to go to a wrestling event in Denver, and after that they're inspired to form their own wrestling league. However, then it actually harms this one guy, the wrestling coach, and he tries to take them down. But the kids get really good and get a loyal contingent following them in their wrestling adventures. This one's definitely funny, definitely worth watching, and you get to see how the true sport of wrestling really works. The final honorable mention at number 11 will be The List. The List is when the girls form a list of the cutest boy in their class and then the least cutest. But Kyle finds out that's actually him. I know, Eric is not last place, and that really gets in Eric's head, but I think Butter's reaction was honestly just too cringy to even imagine. Honestly, he wore number 11 on his shirt and continued to wear it. Then Clyde gets number 1. While he's going through his egomaniac phase, Kyle's going through depression, thinks about burning down school, but Stan teams up with Wendy to try to figure out what's going on because they know the list is a fraud. And I really just like to see Stan and Wendy get back. I mean, not like in a romantic sense, but hey, they could still be friends. And I really like how since Raisins with their depression breakup scene, they end up still being friends. Definitely one I like to see. Now, at the top 10, we're going to start off with 1%. So, after Eric punishes basically in the entire school for being so fat that the entire school sinks down in the ratings to be the most unathletic school and most physically challenged school in the entire country, they have to do work. However, some kids really don't want to do this. They try messing with Eric, even try basically killing him, only to figure out that Eric's the one who's been trying to hurt himself the entire time. He killed his own stuffed animals so he could grow up. I feel like this one takes a deeper, darker turn down South Park, but most of these episodes actually work out really well. It was just entertaining to watch, especially with the 99% rally, Butters and Jimmy, Occupy Red Robin. Very meaningful causes, by the way. Up next is Fatbeard. Basically, this episode is, what happens if you can make Somalia a paradise? Yeah, that's pretty much why this episode is so interesting to start off with. So, Cartman, Clyde, Ike, Kevin, Butters, and they decide that their lives are miserable back in South Park, and they go to Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia, to try to become pirates. However, they realize how tough things are until they actually conquer a French ship, and they decide to bring it back, and then they get respected Somalian pirates. However, Kyle then goes back and tries to rescue everything, and then they realize their lives actually weren't so bad. This one just, again, it turns what you think be horrible, miserable lives in Somalia, and actually could make it entertaining, and a bunch of kids being pirates. That's pretty entertaining just the way it is, so that's probably why this gets number 9 on my list. At 8, we have a two-parter, 200 and 201. I'm not completely sure why they named it that, but what I am sure about is it was a good episode. So to start off with is Stan accidentally calls Tom Cruise a fudge packer, and then the entire celebrities decide to sue the town of South Park unless if they could bring Muhammad, but they have to bring Muhammad there, and pretty much this is, you can't show Muhammad out in public or you get bombed, so this is a huge dilemma for the people of South Park, and they're really trying to do everything possible to not get sued. But in part 2, where they further develop this, the Ginger Kids are threatening to bomb the town, and the celebrities are there, and they send Barbra Streisand after them. And after that, Cartman finds trying to figure out who his dad is with the help of Mitch Connor while on the way through this. And yeah, it turns out his father was Scott Tenorman's dad, and Eric killed his own dad and fed it to his stepbrother. Yeah, that's definitely the positive note of this episode, but seriously, the only bad thing about this was how they decided to blur out the speech about terrorism, stuff like that, because it really is an important message that you can't be terrorized and you have to be able to express your own free will. But still, it was a great episode, great plot all around, and to see how the town reacted to another one of their many struggles. Speaking of depression, and when Dark returns to South Park, coming in here at number 8 is Raisins. Raisins is definitely the episode. Maybe your Asperger's or You're Getting Old is the other example of this. However, I feel like Raisins does it better than any of those episodes, because after Stan gets broken up by Wendy, he gets into gothic depression, and Hank starts hanging out with the goth kids, while Butters is falling for this girl named Lexus at... It's basically a Hooters. It's child Hooters. Overall, I like how Butters deals with the experience of love for the first time and seeing how it works out for him. But also just seeing Stan going through this depression thing and learning to overcome it, that's definitely one worth watching. Coming here at number 6, we got The Super Best Friends. I really like this one because it brings David Blaine in this, and it just really shows how friendship works. Basically, the plot of this one is Stan, Kyle, Eric, and Kenny, and all those guys, they decide to join David Blaine's cult after being wowed by his magic. But it turns out, then, they're a bunch of psychopaths, and they're going to do nothing to stop their will, so Stan has to go to Jesus and his super best friends, and they have to figure out how to stop them, and they end up doing it. It was definitely an entertaining one to watch. Coming here at number 5, definitely by far the most recent episodes, which is another reason why you can so appreciate it, because typically with the later episodes, they go downhill. However, this one, I did not feel like this one went down at all. This is one of the most perfect episodes you can imagine. It's doubling down. So Kyle decides to play a fire as he gets invested in Eric and Heidi's relationship. However, things aren't going really well. As he starts dating Heidi, Eric gets really pissed off and starts getting in a rage. However, this is also relevant to President Garrison's 1-year anniversary, and these actually connect really well because it shows how Kyle and Heidi's relationship is basically one of regret for Heidi, but the one of Garrison in the 1-year anniversary is showing how some of his loyal supporters at the beginning are starting to regret their choice of voting for him. And overall, I feel like it really connected well with, and one thing I really like about South Park is just how it really shows about this theme of being able to tackle serious issues. And I feel like this one did it perfectly, as basically it showed relationship abuse and figure out how it works. Unlike Family Guy's Silence of Brenda Q, that just went wrong from the start and then just put itself in a train hole. Speaking of going to negative episodes, if you want to see top 10 worst South Park episodes, let me know in the comment section saying I want top 10 worst episodes. And if you want to go to Family Guy, which I'm planning to do, then type in I want Family Guy. So we're going down to number 4 now, which is going to be a History Channel Thanksgiving. This one is a really good episode in my opinion, as this one just turns how the serious things work and makes them suddenly unserious. Like, really, I mean, first, it says basically that Pilgrims and Indians were aliens. I mean, that's a bold thing to do with, and I felt like this one went so well with this. Instead of being ridiculous, it just made things, as Professor Kyle of DeVry Institute said, this one's definitely worth a watch. Okay, you probably didn't say that, but whatever. Basically, the plot of this one is they're trying to figure out what's the deal with Thanksgiving, and History Channel suggests that maybe aliens had caused it. So then they figure out it actually was aliens, and that's really how Thanksgiving happens. And they sign a peace treaty, and the Pilgrim Native American War, that was definitely a battle worth seeing. And Ghost might be there too. I don't know. This one might be something definitely worth watching. For numbers 3 through 1, we got the trilogies here, just saying that now. And I feel like I'm starting with my least favorite of the 3 trilogies, Imagination Land. I mean, I really love these trilogies. It's pretty much a movie, and South Park movies are really well, except for the Bigger, Longer, Co. one. I wasn't too big of a fan of that one. But however, these ones are definitely ones worth watching. So in the first part of Imagination Land, the terrorists just attack Imagination Land, and their minds go wild. And Cartman and Kyle make a bet. If Cartman can prove leprechauns are real, Kyle will do something inappropriate to Eric. I'm pretty sure I can't say this on YouTube. If you want to figure out what it was, go see it. However, it's really awkward. But it doesn't get too overly repetitive that you just get annoyed by it. However, it's probably why I'd say it's my least favorite of the 3 trilogies. However, in part 2, Stan and Kyle go to Washington, D.C. and the Pentagon to try to fix what's going on in Imagination Land, and Cartman is still trying to search for Kyle to figure out what's going on. And Butters gets stuck in Imagination Land, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, if he's the key to fix everything here. In part 3 of Imagination Land, Butters engages in the ultimate battle, and good versus evil of the Imagination thoughts finally head out, see what's going on, and the guys get sucked in, and yeah, it was overall a really good trilogy here. Definitely one that's definitely worth a watch. As you could really see here, I mean, except for what Kyle has to do to Cartman, but yeah. Other than that, I felt this was really well thought out, and definitely one that's really entertaining. Well, at number 2, we got Black Friday. This one I really liked because the kids are going through creative lengths to go through this Game of Thrones replica here. And inside this, they figure out Black Friday, they could get Xboxes or PS4s. However, they divide over this conflict. Some go through Xboxes, some through PS4s, and they try to getting people to go on their side to help them figure out what's going there and be the first ones in the mall. While doing this, Randy is the security guard, and this is really developed well throughout this trilogy. Because Stan and Kyle constantly fight in the arguments. Kenny betrays Cartman and those in the Xbox followers, and he becomes a Japanese princess. Yeah, that definitely happened. If you want to see what that's, just, yeah, go take a look at that episode. And in part 3, it's the ultimate battle at Red Robin with a wedding, and you can see Bill Gates fight that Sony guy. Yeah, I don't know his name. Just go Sony guy. Overall, this one is a great development. And George R.R. Martin, he showed the true meaning of Game of Thrones. We've learned the true meaning of Game of Thrones in there. And overall, they decided to go through this battle. I can't find really anything wrong with this. And shows Black Friday's most entertaining form. And honestly made me honestly want to try Black Friday shopping for once, just because of how entertaining it was. However, I realized there's pretty much nothing I wanted, so that's just how powerful this episode could be. Number one of my favorite South Park episode of all time, or my favorite set of 3 episodes of all time, we got the Coon line. Hindsight, and there's also Mysterion Rises, and Coon vs. Coon and Friends. And the first one, which is Hindsight, the Coon now leads a team which consists of Mysterion, Toolshed, Iron Maiden, Tupperware, Mosquito, Mintberry Crunch, and Human Kite. However, things aren't going too well when a burning's built down, but hindsight's there to protect the day. However, Cartman wants to convince everyone that they're the superheroes to be, and they're the ones to have the powers of them all. In part 2, they decide to kick the Coon out. They thought this is not going to be working, and the DP really screws up badly. They kill animals, they draw a portal in another dimension, and they release the powerful Cthulhu. Yeah, they release Cthulhu. That's not how things are working. And now Cthulhu teams up with Cartman, or should I say the Coon, and they're trying to wreak havoc. However, in part 3, that's where things really getting interesting here, as Coon has to fight his own teammates. They have a fight there, they go through the other dimensions, they have to go through cult members, they have to do anything possible to stop it and fix the oil film. But it turns out, Bradley, or Mint-Berry Crunch, is a real superhero. And he's the one who ends up stopping this, but which is really sad for Kenny, because Kenny just wants people to realize what he has to deal with and what he's suffering through. However, overall, this one, you could just see, this is like a superhero movie. This is actually pretty well done, in my opinion. Nothing really here to complain about at all, and just everything here was well put out, well thought out, and definitely the episode, in my opinion, worth watching, as you just see them all as superheroes, and you can just see real plot developments here. Okay, so that was my top 10 South Park episodes of all time. Or these ones are actually really good. You should really give them a watch. What should I do next? I'm having to plan a lot more videos in the future. If I should actually stop right now, I'll see if that happens. But my goal is to get big with this YouTube thing. Probably won't happen, but I'm going to have fun along the way. Until then, see you for the next video. Bye.